welcome to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes. Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. I am Paul Daugherty Jr., and we are here live at the Moerlein Lager House tonight. How's everybody doing out there? Yeah, we got a nice crowd with us. Paul Daugherty is with us this week. Doc, your name's...
what is that supposed to mean?
It means you weren't here last week. We were very confused at first, but you decided to come back and join us, and you're wearing the shirt that has your name on it.
That's pretty strong, isn't it?
It is strong.
I'm glad you noticed, Paul. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're happy to have you back, though. I don't want you to think it's other way. We're glad to have you. Lindsey Patterson, of course, back with us, the pulse of the fan base of the Bengals.
Yes, I am back. I'm ready to go.
Joe Reedy he was nearly an inactive. An hour and a half before, though, a gut call was made by the coaching staff that Joe's going to have to play through the pain because you're sick. I don't know how much sleep you're on, but it wasn't much when I saw you yesterday. In fact, I believe it was 0 when I saw you yesterday, but you're fighting through the pain right now.
We're battling and making progress, Paul.
You're the Vontaze Burfict of this show right now. So we got to go ahead and welcome our guest. Vinny Rey is going to be in the house this night. Let's hear it for Vinny Rey. Thrilled to have him. And he was one of many players in Bengals 17, Chargers 10. A big win for this team, and we say that a lot, I think, after wins in the NFL is, wow, that was a big win. But I think when you look at the big picture of what that meant in the standings and what it meant for a team to go on the road and beat another team playing for its playoff life at home, it was a big win. So I guess my question I'll pose to all of us is, what is the biggest thing that you learned about this team in this win for the Bengals?
I think you hit on it, Paul. The more I think back on this game, the more impressed I am. You go 2,000 miles, you play a team that has playoff hopes, that is coming off a huge win at Kansas City, with a top 5 quarterback who's having a great year. You win in a fashion that suggests you've done it before. To me, that's the biggest impression that I was left with. This team has kind of adapted a culture of winning. I think that's very important. Some teams hope to win. Some teams expect to win. I think this team is getting to the point where it expects to win, and I think ample evidence of that was provided on the last drive, which they didn't score, but they didn't need to score. Basically shoved it down San Diego's throat, said, this is our game, we're going to win this game, and they did. Very, very impressed with how they did it on Sunday.
Yeah, what about you, Linz?
You know, this storyline is a little old, but I'm going to go with the defense. It's unbelievable what they've been able to do with some of the top 5 quarterbacks. You look at Phillip Rivers, he was having an underrated year. He's been putting up numbers. He's an unbelievable quarterback. What they've done with Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and even Ben Roethlisberger, it's still unbelievable how they step up. They don't skip a beat when one guy's out. One guy steps up. It's unbelievable what the defense can do.
Yeah, you run down the list of quarterbacks that they have taken it to this year. Roethlisberger, Rodgers, Brady, now Rivers. These are guys that they're going to see in the playoffs. I mean, if you're looking at what they're going to have to do to win playoff games, you're going to start right with needing to stop an elite quarterback. Your Mannings, your Bradys, your Lucks. Those are your top 4 teams in the AFC. They have proven to be able to do that. When you prove that you can do that in this passing league of the NFL, you have a shot at coming out of the AFC. And I think that was my biggest takeaway regarding the defense, was yet again proved without Leon Hall, without Geno Atkins, they can continue to dominate great quarterbacks and offenses. This was an offense that put up a 41 nugget on KC the week before.
Right.
I mean, this is not a joke offense. I think that goes to show that on the road in a tough environment, they can hang their hat on that and slow down any quarterback.
And also the question is, how good is this defense? Is it the best defense that we've seen in 20 years?
It's up there. I mean, it's certainly one of Mike Zimmer's best incarnations. I don't know. Joe, what do you think?
Maybe Zimmer's defenses in 2003, 2004 at Dallas, but I think definitely this is his best defense in his 6 years here.
Yeah.
But, it's tough to judging defenses from different teams and stuff. And that was a defense in 2003 that led the league in Dallas, so we'll have to eventually see about that. But right now, it's very impressive. And the fact, like you said, that they could do it without Hall and Atkins is the biggest thing I took.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those 4 games coming into the Chiefs game, they were averaging 4.24 yards per attempt against them. That's an absurd number, but they were doing that. And granted, some of those were against bad quarterbacks, so you said, well, let's wait and see how it is against Rivers. We saw it was against Rivers, another huge day. Joe, what was your biggest takeaway, though?
That the run game was able to be effective, which you need in December and in the playoffs. I think the fact that they did it in warm weather, I had to chuckle a little bit because it's, just when you expect a Bengals team to do one thing, they do totally something else. But the run game, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, 20 rushing attempts, 16 could be graded as quality. Giovanni Bernard, a solid day, including catching a ball out of the backfield. And Andy Dalton, I think if he had a second half like he did the first half, we'd say, okay, it was a solid game by him. But that first half, as lousy as it was, but the fact that he bounced back and did better in the second half too, I think kind of made it an average game, which considering the 3 November games he had, I'll take average right now.
Yeah, you're right. And talking about this offense, that was my JoeSfato.com drive of the game. It's hard not to stand behind how they finished. 11 plays, 61 yards, 443, 3 rushing first downs, kneel down to end it. That's how it's supposed to go if you're a winning football team.
What I loved about that drive, and basically about Bernard and Green Ellis all year, they pushed the pile as good as any running backs I've ever seen. They never take the first hit and go down. These guys can be straight into the center of the line, and they're still going for 3 more yards. I think you saw that in abundance on that last drive. Green Ellis was a man possessed. Yeah. I mean, he'd run straight into the line and look like he had nothing, and he gets 3 or 4. And that's a mark of a team that's into the game. That's obvious, that wants to win, expects to win, and that kind of epitomized what I was talking about earlier. This team just seems like it has that culture of winning. Now, whatever we got to do this week, whatever it takes, we're going to do.
Yeah, and Doc, you, myself, Joe Ritty, we were in the locker room afterwards, and it was that idea of we expected to do this. It was not any sort of surprise or jubilation. It was an expected to do that thing. And Lindsay, I believe you got some videos of that.
Yes, Marvin Lewis, Andy Dalton, and Andrew Hawkins after the game.
We just keep playing, and we keep it interesting. We keep playing. We have to win things a couple of times, it seems like, but we got to be proud of how they did it. And I thought it was just a tremendous effort by the offensive front group today, and also the defensive football team all in all.
For us, we've been able to do different things. Certain games we've run the ball well, and the run game's been working. And other games we've had to throw it a lot. So.
I mean, glory to God, man, because I've been through a lot and back, and God has really blessed me to be in the position I'm in, and I'm out here living my dream. So it is cool to, like I said, contribute and make big plays like that on my favorite NFL team growing up. And God just keeps blessing me, man. I can't say that enough.
Came in and did what we had to do, accomplished it. And I thought defensively we were opportunistic. They're tough, very good offense. They had a lot of weapons, and we just kind of made plays when we needed to and kept them out of the end zone. That was the biggest thing, making the turnover plays that we did. And some big third down stops. So
what do you say to folks who say you're sort of the jack of all trades, you can't be a master of none from an offensive standpoint?
Well, I think we can do so many different things, and so I think as long as we're winning games and it's working, that's all that matters.
We had a slow first half, but that's football, man. You're going to go through times when the offense isn't, going 100-yard drives every single drive. You know what I mean? But I think it's good for us, man. Going into the end of the season, being able to work through some of that stuff and clean it up at the end, and just figure it out. That's good. That's good preparation going forward in December football.
And I thought it was good to see Andrew Hawkins there talking after the game, a guy that they involved more than they had since he's come back. Right. He really can bring them a lot of things when they're trying to play. It was very clear the game plan in this game. Play it safe. Don't turn it over. Don't screw it up trying to throw the ball over the field. And Andrew Hawkins is a perfect complement to that type of game plan.
Yeah, we got to talk about the quarterback.
We do.
You said, don't screw it up by trying to throw the ball all over the field. Not exactly a ringing endorsement of your quarterback, but I know what you're saying. It was a conservative, little cat's feet kind of deal. They knew they could win if they didn't mess it up, and they knew they could win if their caretaker quarterback didn't mess it up, and he really didn't. So there you go.
They needed him to make 2 big throws in the second half. The one down the sideline to A.J. Green, and the one to Hawkins, the little option route over the middle. He made them both, and really that was what they needed from him. Make the few throws we need, manage the offense, And that was how it turned out, and that's why they ended up winning the game.
Yeah, just manage the offense, and that's what I felt like he did. He had a short memory after that silly interception in the first half. He came back and just put up a nice second half with great numbers. And of course, everyone can say that A.J. Green touchdown catch any one of us would have made. He was pretty wide open, and that was San Diego's defense's fault. The other pass in the fourth quarter to A.J. Green, the Andrew Hawkins, what Andy Dalton did in the second half it makes you question again, what are we getting? Bad Andy, good Andy? Can we just get consistency?
I think you saw enough, though, that this was maybe the closest we've seen to that middle game that we've been kind of looking for, though, right, Joe?
Well, except for the first half. I mean, that pop fly interception in the second quarter, I think, had people waiting to throw their remote controls to high throw to Green, first attempt of the game where it looked like A.J. might have been injured. Even the first throw of the second half to Gresham looked right down over the middle, and he missed there. There's still enough things that make you go, what the heck? But we're getting a little more middle ground.
Yeah, and we'll learn more. I mean, 4 weeks more to learn more about Andy. We got plenty of time to get Andy Dalton. You have plenty more time to hear us talk, but you probably didn't come here for that because we have Vinny Rey in the house. That's right. Thank Vinny Rey for coming out. We're going to come right back here on Beyond the Stripes and talk with Vinny Rey.
Do not, I repeat, do not buy a 2013 Chevy from another dealer. Not when you can get a 2014 from Joseph Chevrolet for the same price or less. Seriously, Joseph Chevrolet's 2014s are a better deal than anyone else's 2013s. $129 a month for a new Cruise? Up to $6,500 off a 2014 Silverado? Now that's a clearance sale. Don't pay more for a 2013 than a 2014. Come to Joseph Chevrolet now.
Uncle Ray.
Where should we go to eat tonight?
How are the Reds doing?
What time does the movie start?
Did you hear about the new Bengals
Check
player?
out this photo gallery.
Did you check out the bands coming to the
shared
city?
That's the story.
She wore what?
If you don't read The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com, you're missing out on what everyone's talking about. Breaking news, the best local events calendar, and in-depth stories. Updated all day long. Subscribe now at Cincinnati.com/subscribe. The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com. It's what everyone's talking about.
All right, welcome back to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. We're still here at the Moerlein Lager House. We thank everybody coming out. Especially want to thank Vinny Rey for being with us. Vinny, thank you for joining us up here. Vinny, as always, we're thrilled to have you, but we don't get to get the first question here. We go to the Twitters. We promise they won't be mean and nasty like they sometimes are. Lindsay's been monitoring. What do you got?
Twitter loves Vinny Rey. And Gary Butcher says, how bad were you when they blew that whistle on the fumble recovery?
I was really upset initially because I saw nothing but grass and my teammates in front of me to block for me.
It looked like you were going to be able to go all the way. Are you thinking 6 as soon as you pick that thing up? Because, I mean, that has to be the first thing to go through your head when you realize that you weren't even contested to pick up the fumble.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Only thing I was thinking was 6 and just helping the team win. But since we won, it doesn't matter as much to me, but...
Yeah, but you want to score a touchdown. Yeah. You ever scored a touchdown?
Never scored a touchdown in the NFL. Never.
See, that's why these guys, when their first instinct, instead of the fall on the ball and cover it up, you guys want to pick it up and go.
Yeah, we want to win, so we know we need to score, and also we want to score.
Absolutely, I can be the first for you. You were yet another diamond in the rough for this club. The last 3, 4, 5 years, the personnel guys have done a terrific job of bringing in guys like you, Vontez, great examples of guys that are not drafted, but are seen as guys who can play in the league. My question, I guess, is, did you have any inkling before the draft that if you did not get selected, that the Bengals would be dialing you up right away after the draft?
No, I had no idea. Really had no contact with them pre-draft or with anyone, actually, but I'm glad they picked me up because it was an awesome decision for them and for me to agree.
Sorry. Marvin talked a couple weeks ago on here about how they had to get you off the plane because you were about to sign with Seattle in 2010. What made you decide not to go to Seattle and stick here when They said you would be on the 53-man roster in a couple weeks, but we do know teams lie from time to time.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know. And number one, I wanted a chance to play on Sundays. I was on the practice squad at the time, which is a great time to hone your skills and continue to get better. But I really wanted to play on Sundays, and I didn't know if I would be on the roster. But after speaking with people in the organization from the Bengals, I was actually at the airport, and I actually sent my bags over to the West Coast in Seattle. But I just remained here, and I'm very thankful that I did.
Is it true that Daugherty Jones was kind of a mentor to you when he was here?
Definitely. 3 years ago, I was roommates with Daugherty Jones for my entire rookie year, and it was his 11th and last year, and I learned a lot how he prepared even before the game. He already knew what to do before he stepped out there, and just how he would go out there and get to meetings early and know what to do. He was definitely a very cerebral player.
Are you a cerebral player? I mean, Marvin also said that you play the way you're coached. I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean that you don't deviate from the plan, that you don't freelance, or that you're intelligent enough that you understand exactly what you're supposed to do and you do it the way they ask you to?
Yes, I like to say that. I mean, I come out to practice on Wednesday, which is the start of our week, and I practice hard and listen to exactly what the coaches say, because I always assume that they know better than I do. I mean, they've been coaching for a long time. So I listen to what they say, and I do it in practice, and the better I can do it in practice, the more confident I am for the game on Sunday.
How much did your perspective of how good you can be and your confidence change, though, after Buffalo? I mean, after having the big game, did that change things for you?
Yeah. When I played at Buffalo, we had a couple goal line stands there, and I was right in the mix of it, and we were just jumping on the pile and trying to stop them from running in there. And it definitely made me confident just playing alongside with Vontez and James Harrison, Michael Johnson. Seeing those guys on your side will give anybody confidence.
When you have games when you rack up sacks and you start making plays, does that give you the idea that you're more a part of this team than you were when you were just a special teamer, though?
No, I wouldn't say it makes me feel more a part of the team. I would say that I'm doing it gives me confidence to say that, hey, I can do it, because a lot of times when you're not on defense as much on Sundays, you kind of could question yourself, like, man, can I actually do what they're coaching me to do? But when you get out there and you play within Coach Zimmer's defense and you make some plays, you're like, man, I can do a pretty good job.
Right.
Just because we saw the replays after the touchdown that tied up at 7-7. What is it like being at the end of that bench during a game and you got Mike Zimmer screaming at your entire group?
Well, thankfully, I was out there on special teams at the time, so I wasn't there to hear the brunt of it, but I did hear the aftermath when I got back to the sidelines. He's a guy that you don't want to be upset at you. I mean, we really play for him a lot of times. We play for each other, but we play for him because we know that he's always honest with us, and we know that he's given all of his time and effort into coaching us, so we don't want to let him down.
How much of playing defense is attitude? I mean, we talk a lot about parity in this league. Is there parity among defenses? What separates a very good defense from a good defense? Is it camaraderie? Is it playing well together? Is there an attitude of we're just not going to let you do what you want to do? What is the difference between a good defense and a very good defense?
It's a tough question. I would say that it starts back in off-season training, training camp, preseason games, and then sometimes when you get out there, it has nothing to do with your physical ability. It's just making up in your mind. For example, after a turnover and they have the ball in the red zone, it's just saying, listen, they're not going to get 7. They can only get 3 points. And You got guys like Mike Johnson, Dunlap, Gilberry. When they say that, you listen. So it's not going to be my fault that they're going to get 7 points.
Vontez calls you the smartest linebacker on the team. What do you think of him?
Vontez is the leader of our defense, I'd say. And I'll also say that with the NFL, sometimes a lot of it is a business, and I would say that he has a very genuine love for the game, just a love to compete and not give up a yard, not give up an inch. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to your alma mater in the ACC championship game. Does this mean Duke is a football school now?
I think we are now a football school. We're football and basketball. Most wins in football history. So with 10 wins. So this is the best it's ever been at Duke, and I'm just riding this wave as a Duke alum. I can't get enough of it, especially when we beat Carolina. Just get to talk a little bit to Gio and Brandon Tate.
How different is Duke now? I mean, from your view of it, even from afar now, from when it was when you first showed up there, at the beginning, your freshman year, because you went to a program that wasn't exactly standing tall.
Yeah, we weren't. We just weren't getting the job done as a whole. And junior year, in comes Coach David Cutcliffe, and he sets a new standard. And he grabs the bull by the horns. And ever since then, it's been different there. And I like to believe that some of the stuff that I did back then, that they're seeing the effects of it. And that's what some of the coaches tell me. I still go back there every off season. And it's awesome being back there. It's like a totally different campus.
We always hear that, if you're a football coach, you say, boy, I really hope the other teams do well because that'll help us. That'll attract attention to the school in general, the publicity, what have you. We'll be able to get better players. But there's a lot of places, Kentucky, Syracuse, and until recently Duke, that had terrific basketball programs, but not good football programs. How come?
I don't know. I know with basketball, you could probably get a couple All-Americans, and all of a sudden your season turns around. But with football, it's just it. And I know I'm biased because I'm a football player, but it's just such a team sport where if one person isn't doing their job, for example, on the offensive line, everyone could do a great job, and then there could be a tackle for a loss or possibly a turnover. Yeah. So it's such a team sport. It's very difficult.
I have a non-football question. Tell us a little bit about your foundation, Envision Children.
Okay, so I'm a board member for Envision Children, who's headed by Cheryl Gardner, who's actually here. And they do you can clap. We do a whole lot, a lot of things that I'm not even a part of, because it's so many things that they do. But the main thing that I love about Envision Children is the after-school program, the extended day. Because growing up, I was a guy that was always in after-school programs from as far back as I can remember. And it greatly helped me with math, reading, and more important, just having someone, just having guidance after school. And also, summer enrichment programs, I've gone to that every year, every other week maybe. And I've gone, and now these kids, they don't have to be there during the summer, but their parents urge them to be there. And it's a great thing because if you're not doing that, you could be doing something else that isn't as constructive.
Plus, I know you're heavily involved in United Way also. I think last year or 2 years ago, you got to take a group of students to Washington. What was that like?
Oh, that was nice. I took 2 students from Taft High School. They came along. We went to Washington, D.C., and just getting a chance to know them better. And it was even greater just meeting people all across the country, high school students that were just exemplary, did everything just in such a great way. And, they really motivated me, honestly.
Was that always a part of something that you wanted to do if you made it to the league? Was that as much a part of it as playing the game for you, was being able to sort of do work like this and be able to affect communities by being a football player?
definitely. I always wanted to be an example in anything I did. I always wanted to be a leader. And on the football field, I do think I'm a leader. I try to do things by example. And it's always better when you have such great leaders on the team. But in the community, I feel like I have to go out there and do something when I have free time. Such as this Tuesday, I have to get out there on Tuesdays and do something to give back because I feel I've been given so much in my life. I have to do something because I used to be one of those kids that had aspirations of going to a nice college and maybe being a professional athlete or something. And I always wanted to meet one, but I never did. So I try to make it a point to meet as many kids and tell them, hey, I play in the NFL. And school is very important because it was important to me, so it should be important to you.
Pay it forward.
Absolutely love it. That's right. Let's hear it for Vinny Rey. Vinny Rey, great guy. We are not done talking with Vinny Rey either. We're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit about the Colts and look a little bit at the AFC playoff picture with Vinny amongst all the rest of us up here. So come right back here to Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com.
My favorite part of the camp was when we went on our field trips. My favorite class is math.
Hi, my name is Vinny Rey of the Cincinnati Bengals. Education has always played an important part of my life, both on and off the field. Without a good education, I would not have been able to play professional sports, and I certainly wouldn't know what lies ahead for me after football. I support Envision Children because they give each child a chance to become the best version of themselves. Envision Children believes each child is born with unlimited potential. Realizing that potential is in part due to the child's home life and the influence of their neighborhood. But mostly, it's their own personal commitment, a commitment to education that unlocks their potential. I got involved in supporting Envision Children because of the interactive way that they bring education to life for the kids they serve.
We're making ice cream!
Instead of staring at a chalkboard or emphasizing rote memorization of facts to pass a test, Envision makes learning fun and hands-on. The kids that Envision works with are the children most in need of a good education.
You too can become involved with the success of our students at Envision Children. We are always looking for volunteers to assist with students and help with fundraising because each child's future is our top priority.
All right, welcome back to Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com. We're still here at the Moerlein Lager House. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. Hope you're having a good time. Obviously, you are drinking, so you must be doing okay. Yes. Bengals and beer is what we cheer for here. Well, time to look ahead, so let's do it. Big week again here. They don't really stop for you guys, Vinny. I mean, you go to San Diego, a team fighting for its playoff life, get a win out there. But here comes a division leader in Indianapolis, 8-4. Both of you guys tied for that 3rd and 4th seed. A lot on the line. For you guys as a defense, when you're talking about Indianapolis, it starts with stopping Andrew Luck. When you start preparation and looking at him, what's the biggest thing that sticks out to you about him?
Well, he can sit in the pocket. He's a big guy, pretty tall, but also pretty big guy, and he has good field vision. Just from what I've seen, I've only seen a little bit so far, but if things break down, I've seen him run, and I've seen 31 there at running back.
Yep. And
they've been able to win games, and they've beaten some big time teams. That's what I know. They beat Seattle. They beat San Francisco. So they beat some really good teams.
Let me get back to this defense in general, because I think fans want to talk more about you than they do about Indianapolis. Play a little word association. I'll give you a name, and you give me one or two words to describe that person. All right?
Oh, Okay.
All right. You went to Duke. We're testing your cerebral ability here now, Vinny.
Okay.
I say Vontez Burfict. You say
passionate.
Good. James Harrison.
Tough.
Mike Zimmer.
Discipline.
Leon Hall.
Dependable.
Marvin Lewis.
Leader.
The University of North Carolina.
Average.
There we go. Very good.
You know, it has to make you feel pretty good. Everyone's getting to see Vinny Rey when, unfortunately Ray Maluga was out. What's it like? Everyone excited to see you take the field, wants you to get more playing time. How's it feel? Kind of nice.
It feels good. It feels good winning 2 games and being on defense, being able to contribute, and getting Ray back is great because we all do different things very well, and we needed Ray back, and I'm glad to have him back.
What is it like, Vinny, being in that room? Because, you've been here 4 seasons now, but that linebacker room with Paulie G is almost like the cathedral of undrafted guys. You got the patron saint in James Harrison. You got the new guy in Vontez. You got Jason DeMonch. That is the group where it just seems like the diamonds in the rough and the undrafted guys have come from.
Yeah. I look at a guy like James Harrison, Vontez Burfict, even, and I'm just like, man, how did these guys go undrafted? That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And secondly, I'm like, man, I'm glad I'm on their side because they're unbelievable competitors. And when I say that, it's not just on Sundays; it's throughout the week. Vontez in meeting rooms, he knows exactly what to do. Hears from the coach, and he does it on the field. And he calls me a smart player, but I think he's a smart player also.
Well, Zimmer emphasizes frequently that reminds you that nobody wanted you. You're the guys that nobody wanted. Did you hear that a lot? Does that give you an edge? Do you need that kind of thing, kind of a chip on your shoulder?
Honestly, yes. Personally, it means it's true. You remember what you were, what people thought you were, and remembering that will make you continue to work hard. You'll never want to take a day off because when you think of that, you're like, man, I have to push myself. And we all kind of feel that way. All of us on defense, we have something in the back of our minds that are telling us we need to keep working.
So I heard a rumor that you can do some impressions of some of your teammates. This was going around. I don't know which ones you do best. You have one that's your go-to impression that you do? Because I know you clearly do by the way you reacted to that.
No, I don't have one off the top of my head.
I refuse to believe this.
Come on.
Marvin Jones came on here and sang his own original song for us. Surely you could give us a little impression of somebody. I know you've got something in you.
I'm sorry. I don't.
It's all right. We still like you, Vinny. We still like you, Vinny. Even though you didn't come through, what we will do, we will show up in the locker room tomorrow. You have all night to think about it. We'll show up with the video. We'll do it, and we'll play it on the show next week. Because I know that you probably got it in you. There's no way that this is something that just was a false rumor spread.
Yes, we could do that. I want to have some time to think about it.
All right, we've got next week. Vinny Rey impressions will be our video.
And I also heard you're kind of a baseball fan. New York Mets, favorite team.
Mm-hmm.
How
Huge.
long?
I don't know. As long as I can remember.
That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Did you attend any Reds games though?
Yeah, I go to Reds games still. I'm now a Reds fan also.
Wear 2 hats.
Yeah, I wear 2 hats, so I'm definitely not a Yankees fan. We can
That's good.
say
Well,
that.
yeah, growing up in Queens, you have no choice, I guess, to be a Mets fan.
Mm-hmm. Because the original Shea Stadium was right there in Queens, and City Field right now is in Queens.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Favorite player?
Favorite Mets player?
Yeah.
David Wright.
David Wright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, great choice.
So which one do you like better? Do you like New City Field or Shea Stadium? Or
Shea Stadium. City Field is huge and everything looks all pretty, but it's something about going to Shea Stadium on the train and sitting with my father and my younger brother and eating some Cracker Jacks.
It's got to be the memories because that place is a dump.
Yeah.
It's just really, I'm sorry, Shea Stadium's a
Does it feel awkward going to games without planes coming directly over top? I mean, that was the signature of Shea Stadium back in the day, was the planes coming right over top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I used to always see them. I've only been to one game in Citi Field, so yeah, that Shea Stadium. We'd always see planes. Me and my brother would be pointing them out.
I was there one day. I worked at Newsday, so I was out on Long Island, so I would cover the Mets on occasion. And I was there one day when all the toilets overflowed, and we pretty much decided that was kind of a metaphor for Shea Stadium. You know what I mean?
Man, his favorite place to be, and you have to tell that story about how terrible it was, and the toilets overflowed.
You're never coming back here.
Yeah. Well, wait, we want to thank Vinny Rey for coming out here. Everybody, let's hear it for Vinny Rey. It's been fantastic. Everybody loves all the work you do on and off the field, so thanks ton for coming out. But we're not quite done yet. We're going to come back. Doc's going to talk, and Joe and I are going to yell at each other a little bit. We'll try to keep it contained because he's sick, so I'll take it easy on him. But we'll be right back here, Cincinnati.com Sports Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JoeSpotto.com.
I repeat, do not buy a 2013 Chevy from another dealer. Not when you can get a 2014 from Joseph Chevrolet for the same price or less. Seriously, Joseph Chevrolet's 2014s are a better deal than anyone else's 2013s. $129 a month for a new Cruise? Up to $6,500 off a 2014 Silverado? Now that's a clearance sale. Don't pay more for a 2013 than a 2014. Come to Joseph Chevrolet now.
Uncle Ray.
Where should we go to eat tonight?
How are the Reds doing?
What time does the movie start?
Did you hear about the new Bengals
Check
player?
out this photo gallery.
Did you check out the bands coming to the show?
That's great. I missed the story.
Sure, what?
If you don't read The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com, you're missing out on what everyone's talking about. Breaking news, the best local events calendar, and in-depth stories. Updated all day long. Subscribe now at Cincinnati.com/subscribe. The Inquirer at Cincinnati.com. It's what everyone's talking about.
Welcome back. In beating the Chargers on Sunday, the Bengals resembled the stereotypical AFC North team. Dogged, opportunistic on defense, and mushing the running game on offense. But it's a myth that running wins games in the NFL. It's a passing league now. Something else wins this time of year, though, and it's not on a stat sheet or in a stereotype. Confidence. The Bengals have reached a level where winning isn't just hoped for, it's expected. You could see it Sunday in the way the defense stifled Phillip Rivers, the way the patchwork offensive line dominated, and most obviously to me, the way Green Ellis and Gio Bernard pushed the pile every time each of them carried the ball. If anyone took a playoff all day, I didn't see it. The winning culture we've seen for years in Pittsburgh and in Baltimore has arrived in Cincinnati. The Bengals find a way. Block kicks, turnovers, late drives to salt away games. The Bengals have earned what winners own, which is a tangible confidence that sees them through all the tough moments. The will to win can be as important as the skill, especially in a league designed for everyone to finish 8-8. The Bengals have that will. Its importance should not be underestimated. Guys?
Thank you, Doc. You know what? You say that, and the first thing that comes to my head is we too often don't give enough credit to Marvin Lewis. I feel like anytime this team is talked about, it's Mike Zimmer's defense or what A.J. Green did. Marvin Lewis has built that culture that you're talking about, and there's a lot of coaches out there that aren't getting that out of their teams. Not to mention, your Redskins, of course. But
we don't want to talk about my Redskins.
But there's a lot of teams that aren't getting that out of them, and I think that is part of the Marvin's culture he's created.
It is personnel. It is making the right decisions on personnel, not just for guys who can play, but guys who have character and can play. I think we saw a great example of that with our guest tonight.
Right.
An undrafted free agent. Character, perseverance, along with the talent. Vontez Burfict. I mean, go down the line of the guys on the defense especially. They have figured it out here. It's taken them a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, the 2005 team was very talented, but lacked the kind of character that this team has. And they can draft to it. They can sign free agents to it. And I think you're really seeing the dividends of it right now.
Well, and I think the other key, too, is that Marvin picked these guys, where maybe in the past, that 2008, 2009, those groups before, there might have not been that leeway in the past. Marvin picked each of these individuals and knows what he's got. And there's a consistent culture from top to bottom that's been built. And he knows the right buttons to push in this locker room.
Well, Joe, it's about that time where we have to get after a little bit. We got 3 debate topics tonight to make it easier to pick a winner. So because we learned that the even numbers make it a little difficult on Doc here.
Usually
we want to make
one
it
topic that he
as
doesn't
easy as
like.
possible for Doc.
I'm the judge. I get to do whatever I want.
Yes. Okay, so.
Hands it. Go ahead.
That's not, no. Okay, so, number 1. We've got the movement happening on the offensive line. Should Andrew Whitworth move to guard and have Anthony Collins outside at left tackle?
I like it because if we're talking about your 5 best linemen, we've seen that combination work. And I mean, Mike Pollock's been solid for a couple games, but when Kevin Zeitler comes back, that's his spot. If it doesn't work, you can move Whitworth back to left tackle, put Pollock at left guard. But I think with what Whitworth showed in the run game at left guard and the fact that that combination did not allow a sack, I want to see the 5 best linemen out there. And right now with Whitworth at left guard and Collins at left tackle, that's the combination.
I would agree with what you're saying there, but if we're talking about this week, Robert Mathis has 15 and a half sacks already, okay? He is coming off those edges. You need your best left tackle out there. You need your tackles out there. And I think Andrew Whitworth has proven to be an all-pro left tackle. And we've seen great things from Anthony Collins. This is no knock on Anthony Collins, but if you're looking for your top guy, your known quantity, shutting down another team's top player, this week in particular, I want Andrew Whitworth against Robert Mathis.
Anthony Collins shut Julius Peppers down, an all-pro player. I think the fact that he showed that in week 1 would tell me to keep the combination.
I don't know how many sacks Julius Peppers has this year, but it ain't 15 and a half. I can tell you that much. I mean, I'm not saying Julius Peppers isn't great. I'm saying I want a proven guy out there for that matchup. That's all. Okay, let's go number 2. Andrew Luck comes to town this week. So, best young QB in their first 3 years. Who you got?
I got Russell Wilson. I mean, what he's doing in Seattle with the arm, with the running ability, the confidence he has with that offense with Seattle. Looks like they're going to be the number 1 seed. That offense was on fire last night against New Orleans. They're right now the bona fide favorite in the NFC. You got to go with him.
That's a tough one for me. I like Russell Wilson, too. He has a lot of help from that defense. They set him up in some pretty advantageous situations. He does great things, don't get me wrong. Andrew Luck right now doesn't have a whole lot of help around him. You've seen how good he can be when he has Reggie Wayne. You look at this first year and a half, I mean, we're talking untouchable type stuff for a young quarterback. I want Andrew Luck. Maybe right now, without all the weapons, he doesn't have it, but if I'm building a team, I want Luck because I think on the whole, as cerebral as he is, as smart as he is, as big and physical as he is back there, he's the next Manning prototype, and that's the type of guy that I want. Russell Wilson runs around a little much. You worry about injury possibly happening. He plays it smart sometimes, but you worry about injury with a guy like that. I don't think you worry about that as much with Luck. Durability's big.
Well, Russell's got durability too. And the other thing is, they traded for Percy Harvin at the beginning of the year. He hasn't played that many games, and yet he's still getting more out of his receivers.
I'll give you that. All right, here we go. Last one, playing Indianapolis. So, best Indianapolis event. You going with the Indy 500 or the Final Four?
You know how many 500s I've covered.
You do love the wheel racing.
I'm going with the 500. You get a little Jim Neighbors with the back home again in Indiana. Wow. And the tradition, the Memorial Day festivities. To me, I've had the pleasure of being at many different events. But when you're on the front stretch at Indianapolis before they do the gentlemen and ladies start your engines, and you see those F-14s flying over and all the pageantry and everything, the trophy, the milk, the wreath.
The milk.
How
I'm
much
sorry.
it means. I'm taking a 500.
Oh, that's beautiful. God bless America, Joe. That's fantastic. You know what happens after all the pageantry? Racing. Wow, it's so boring. I mean, what are we really watching? Cars go round and round. Listen, give me some action. Give me basketball. You know what? Forget the Final Four. I'll take a Pacers game over going to the Indianapolis 500. At least I'm getting action and I'm getting something fun to go watch rather than sitting back and waiting for some wrecks to happen, and waiting for some guy to drink milk and climb a wall. I don't need that. I need action in the actual sport that I'm going to watch. I'm not there just to sit back and listen to you sing and watch a guy drink milk.
Is it my turn now? This
I think it
tonight
is.
is a slam dunk tonight, boy. The best event in Indianapolis, I'd go all the way down to going to Ike and Jonesy's and watching 20-year-olds make out before I'd go to the Indy 500. You know what the Indy 500 is? It's and then they go, you can't see them again. They come back about 45 seconds later. Like, big deal. I have no idea why you think that's interesting. But some of the other points were okay. Russell Wilson, I think, Paul, you were in a position of having to choose somebody else. Joe got first pick. Russell Wilson is the obvious pick on that one. So Joe wins there. Tiebreaker. Andrew Whitworth moving to guard or not? I say yes. I agree with the 5 best guy philosophy. I do not think that Andrew Whitworth had a stellar game at left tackle against Elvis Doomerville in Baltimore. I go with Joe's notion. So, Joe, my man, where's my $20? You are the winner of this week's debate.
Congratulations, Joe. It's the first time you won without paying Doc. Congratulations.
Not yet.
You're really moving up the role. Hey, I want to thank Doc, even though he's a terrible judge, Joe Reedy, Lindsey Patterson. I want to thank Vinny Rey for coming out and joining us here at the Moerlein Lager House. We, of course, are here every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock. We'll be back here again next Tuesday. Make sure you follow us for all our coverage. You can watch us on the tablet. Go to Cincinnati.com. Get the Bengals app. Listen to Joe and I on the podcast. It's this, but much longer and more ridiculous. And we hope to see you up here every Tuesday at the Moerlein Lager House, 7 o'clock. So thanks for watching us on Beyond the Stripes with Paul Daugherty, presented by JosephAuto.com.
Moerlein Lager House is Cincinnati's premier brew pub. The restaurant features impressive lunch and dinner menus, as well as a wide selection of beer and other drinks. The Lager House is also proud to continue Cincinnati's brewing heritage by brewing their own fresh craft beer on site. Conveniently located along the riverfront, the